Have you felt your grip tighten on the steering wheel because a stranger decided their 3 seconds of time were worth more than your safety? Or felt the sting of being treated like a clueless burden by the grown child who now stands on the very foundation you bled to build? Or worse, have you caught your spouse in a blatant lie, watching them double down, watching them gaslight your reality until you feel like you're losing your mind in your own home? And at work, you watch your ideas be stolen by the person who ignored you minutes before, or by someone always trying to take credit for your hard work. Whether it is a flash fire of rage or the molten lava of resentment that has been brewing in us for years, we know that once anger breaks out, it rarely fixes the problem. It only burns the person holding it. Because it wrecks our own peace and calm, anger is a punishment we give ourselves for someone else's mistake. Now, we can't delete human emotion, but we can certainly and absolutely reach a point where anger no longer controls our actions. In our last video, we talked about external control, how to handle people when they attack you. Today, we look even further. We look in depth at internal control, how to handle the fire inside us before it even reaches our lips. We replace the anger with something greater: calm, silence. Seneca, the remedy is delay. Seneca wrote a masterpiece on this called De Ira, on anger. He discovered a hard truth. Anger is not something that happens to you. It is something you choose. It comes from 3 places. First, false expectations. We suffer because we demand a world that does not exist. We expect kindness from the cruel and order from a universe built on chaos. But the moment reality fails to meet our imagination, the fire ignites. Second, a fragile ego. We believe we are too important to be inconvenienced. Someone disrespects you. Someone cuts you off. Someone takes credit for your work. We rage because we expect our importance to be obvious, but to them it is invisible, and that invisibility burns. Third, the agreement. This is Seneca's deepest insight. When you are provoked, your mind makes a split-second judgment. I have been wronged, and I must strike back. But that judgment is not mandatory. You can see it happening and simply refuse to act on it. That power is yours. Your response is the only thing you own. In this, Seneca was describing a biological mechanism that neuroscience would later prove with precision. His solution was absolute. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Do not speak. Do not act. Do not text. Do not scream. Just wait. To understand why this delay works, we have to look beneath the surface, at the biology of our own survival. Anger isn't just a state of mind, it's a physical reaction. When we are triggered, an alarm system deep in the brain fires, flooding the body with stress chemicals. In that moment, the part of us that thinks and reasons simply shuts down. We aren't being rational, we are in survival mode. Neuroscientist Dr. Bolte Taylor identifies this as the 90-second rule. From the moment of the trigger, it takes roughly 90 seconds for those stress chemicals to flush out of your system. If you can simply remain silent and still for those 90 seconds, the chemistry clears. The fog lifts, you are back in control. Most people speak while the chemicals are still burning. By the time their mind clears, the damage is permanent. Seneca wrote, "Anger, if it is hidden, does no harm, but if it breaks out, it is destructive." That initial spark isn't the problem, it's just a signal. The destruction happens when you let that signal dictate your actions while your mind is still clouded. When the heat rises, don't fight it, just acknowledge it. Then, give yourself 90 seconds. This isn't about burying your feelings, it's about outlasting your chemistry. You are watching the impulse pass, rather than becoming the impulse. In that window of time, ask yourself, are you deciding what happens next? or is your biology deciding for you? That is the line between being a slave to a reflex and being the master of yourself. But knowing the rule is only half the battle. To hold your ground when the world is screaming in your face requires more than just knowledge. It requires discipline, and for that, we turn to the journal of an emperor. Marcus Aurelius. The judgment is the wound. Marcus Aurelius didn't just deal with difficult people, he prepared for them like a general preparing for war. Every morning, the man who ruled the known world told himself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This was his discipline. He wrote to himself every single day to ensure he never lost control when people disrespected him, betrayed him, or challenged his authority. He understood that our anger doesn't come from the events themselves, but from the stories we tell ourselves about those events. Through this practice, he identified 4 primary sources of our rage. First, the expectation error. We forget that people are often driven by their impulses, their fears, and their old, unexamined habits. We expect them to be rational and fair, but when they act out of their own nature, we are shocked. We don't rage at a storm for being wet or a thorn for being sharp. We accept them for what they are. Yet we expect people to rise above their own history and instincts, and we feel betrayed when they don't. Second, the added layer. This was the emperor's deepest insight. The event itself is neutral. A person speaks, a person acts. That is the raw data, but we add a layer of meaning on top of it. We label it an insult or an injustice. The event didn't hurt you, your judgment of the event did. Third, the poverty of character. Marcus Aurelius believed that when people do wrong, they aren't necessarily evil. They are simply lacking the tools to do right. They are acting out of a deep poverty of character, trapped by their own impulses and unexamined habits. Getting angry at them is like getting angry at a desert for being dry. Your rage won't bring rain to their soul. It only dehydrates your own peace. Fourth, the approval trap. We care far too much about the opinions of people whose characters we don't even respect. We expect them to understand our worth, but they are looking through the lens of their own insecurities and habits. Their inability to see your value is their deficit, not your problem. Why let a person who cannot control their own mind define who you are? Marcus Aurelius was describing something neuroscience would later call cognitive reappraisal. His solution was not to ignore reality, but to reframe it. The emperor wrote, "Remove the judgment, I am hurt, and the hurt itself is removed." He wasn't talking about the event. He wasn't talking about the person's words. He was talking about your interpretation of those words. To the Stoic, the interpretation is the only place where the battle is actually won or lost. Modern neuroscientist David Rock studied how the brain responds to this. He found that when you change the story you tell yourself about an event, your brain's response literally changes. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, quiets down. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, strengthens. You aren't just thinking positive. You are changing your biology. You are choosing to let your logic lead instead of your reflex. You are not denying the event happened. You are choosing a different meaning for it. By expecting disrespect, you remove the shock that triggers rage. When someone criticizes you harshly, your first instinct is to defend. But what if their words are simply a reflection of their own internal chaos? What if their harshness is a symptom of their own limitations and not a verdict on your failure? When you see the source, the meaning shifts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. If someone is loud and rude, we remain quiet and calm. If someone is petty, we are generous. If someone is unaware of our worth, we do not rage trying to make them see. We simply move on, secure in what we know is true. Here is what happens when we reframe. First, we feel the surge of rage. Do not deny it. The rush of heat is real, but that physical reaction is not the meaning. Second, we ask ourselves, what am I adding to this? The person said words. That is all. The insult is a story you are writing on top of those sounds. Third, we rewrite the story. This person is acting from their own internal limitations. Their words reveal their chaos, not my worth. I don't need to defend something that is already secure. This is mastery of the narrative. Right now, think of something someone said to you that made you angry. Now separate the words from the meaning. The words are just sounds. Your brain added the rest. What if the person was simply acting out of their own history and habits? What changes in your anger when you see it that way? That is what the emperor understood. Notice what happens to the anger when you change the story. Epictetus, the master test. Epictetus was born a slave. His master once broke his leg. A visitor to Rome observed him in chains and asked how he bore it. Epictetus simply said, "You can break my leg, but you cannot break my will." He understood the ultimate divide. There are things we control, and there are things we do not. Our physical freedom can be limited. Our time can be taken. Our circumstances can be forced upon us. But our response, our choice of what to do with what happens, that is ours alone. He found our rage comes from three places. First, misplaced desire. Epictetus taught that we suffer because we want things that are not up to us. We want someone else's respect. We want them to change, but these things are outside the fortress. When you realize this, you stop handing over your peace to strangers. You refuse to be controlled. Second, the puppet strings. Too often we treat our own minds like a puppet. Someone throws an insult and we hand them the strings. We let that external impression jerk us into a reaction, but you can choose to be more than an instrument played by someone else's hands. You can choose to hold the strings. Third, the habit of the soul. Every time we give in to rage, we aren't just having a bad moment, we are feeding a beast. Epictetus called this the stain on the soul. We build our own cages brick by brick, but you have the power to break the habit. You can train your soul for peace instead of rage. He was describing what neuroscience now calls the amygdala hijack. Epictetus's solution was simple. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. When we react instantly to a lie, a rude gesture, or a condescending tone, we lose our temper because we have lost our power to choose. We are not deciding to be angry. We are letting an automatic reflex take over. In that moment, the person who provoked you, whether they lied to you or just cut you off in traffic, is in charge of your mind. You have handed them the remote control to your emotions. But here is the truth that modern neuroscience has proven. Every single time you pause instead of reacting, you rewire your brain. By taking that pause, you are forcing the logical part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, to step in and weaken the automatic response of the amygdala. It is a muscle. Every rep makes it stronger. We can be retrained. Consistently, over time, we can rewire the circuit. You are training yourself to be the person who decides how to feel, rather than the person who just reacts to whatever is happening around them. You are no longer a reflex that triggers just because someone pushed a button. You are becoming a sovereign mind, someone who owns their own peace. Epictetus believed this was the ultimate test of a master. He wrote, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. No one can make you angry without your consent." Here is how we apply the master test today. First, the recognition. When someone provokes us, we must understand what's actually happening. It's not the event itself, it's our judgment about the event. The provocation is external, the reaction is internal, and that distinction is everything. Second, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that some things are in our power, our judgments, our choices, our responses. Others are not. People's behavior, words, opinions. Real suffering comes from trying to control what we cannot. Freedom comes from mastering what we can. Third, the power of the pause. Between provocation and reaction lies your freedom. It is the conscious space where you choose exactly how the story unfolds. The impulse is a suggestion, not a command. We are choosing not to be ruled by it. On one side is the reflex, automatic reaction. On the other is the response, conscious decision. In that pause, the string is cut. You are no longer a consequence of their chaos. You are the master of your response, calm and silent. You are either the wind that disappears or the tree that remains. Master the theory, master your response. Control the emotion before it controls you. When the temper rises, ask yourself this: am I in control or am I being controlled? Now let's put this into practice. The application, how to stay in control. This is where theory meets practice. Let me walk you through it. Step 1. Notice and pause. Someone triggers you. The moment you feel the anger rising, the heat, the tightening, the surge, pause. Don't speak, don't act, don't respond. Just observe what's happening in your body, like you're watching from outside yourself. This pause is the break in the automatic chain. You're aware of the reaction, but you haven't been swept into it yet. Step 2. Breathe and let it clear. Your nervous system released a flood of chemicals the moment you were triggered. Those chemicals need to leave your body naturally. Breathe deeply, in through your nose, out through your mouth. A few breaths, then a few more. While you breathe, focus on this. Don't feed the story. Don't rehearse what they said. Don't replay the moment. Don't build a narrative about what it means. Those thoughts restart the chemical reaction. Your only job is to feel the intensity move through your body and fade. Step 3. The worth question. Now that the stress chemicals has cleared, ask yourself, does this person control me? Would you follow their lead in areas that actually matter? In business? In a crisis? In your values? Is this person important enough to steal the next hour of your life? Is their insult worth your focus? Is their behavior worth your energy? The moment you realize they aren't worth the energy, you stop giving it. You've already won. Step 4. Break the cycle. You've now used these tools to stay in control in this moment. As you practice, it becomes easier. But here's what matters. Use that calm clarity to set a small, achievable goal. What's one thing you could change about this situation? A boundary you could set? A response you could shift? Make it specific to your life. This is the ongoing work, conscious choices, day after day to protect your peace. Because when you stop accepting the same pattern repeatedly, everything changes. Your health, your relationships, your progress, your well-being. Use that intensity to make a clear decision. Protect yourself from toxic dynamics. Set a boundary that should have been set years ago. Don't waste this energy on words you'll regret. The calm man makes moves. Don't leak your power in a shout. Burn it in a decision. The difference: one person lets anger control their words. The other pauses, gets clear, then makes a conscious choice. One stays stuck. The other stops the cycle and takes a different path. Every time you pause, you rewire your brain. You're breaking the habit of reacting and building real control. The next time the heat rises, Scan the signal, let the chemicals pass, question their worth, break the cycle, and take back your power. If you are ready to start this today, if you are done reacting to every trigger, type this in the comments. Make this your line in the sand. I won't let anger control me. I choose calm and peace. Because the moment you decide is the moment everything changes. Calm is power. You've just made that choice. Now let me show you what you're protecting yourself from. Most people think silence is weakness. They think staying quiet means you've lost. They are dead wrong. Silence is a refusal to leak power. You might have every right to be livid. You might have every reason to scream and show them exactly how they've hurt you. But here is the cold truth. Rage never makes the point. If they didn't respect your feelings before, they won't respect your outburst now. Some people will just shrug. Others will come back harder. And the cost? You trade your peace for their temporary compliance. That's not a win. That's surrender, disguised as victory. Here's what happens when you keep choosing the explosion. Your blood pressure spikes. Your cortisol floods your system. You replay the moment for hours or days, wondering what you should have said, wishing you could take it back. Words you can never unspeak. Damage you can't undo. A relationship fractured that may never fully heal. And for what? For someone trapped in patterns that damage themselves and everyone around them. You might try to help them see. You might offer clarity, but people only change when they truly see the problem themselves and choose to. That's their work, not yours. Your job isn't to fix them or force them to change. Your job is protecting your peace. Meanwhile, the person who provoked you, they've moved on. They're not thinking about you, and you're still burning. You become the energy absorber for someone else's chaos. Your health deteriorates. Your progress stalls. Your life gets smaller because you're stuck in a cycle with someone who was never worth the energy in the first place. But the calm one, the one who refuses to explode, they're free. Their blood pressure stays steady. Their mind stays clear. They sleep at night. They move forward because they aren't anchored to the wreckage of other people's mistakes. The loud man is predictable. The loud man is weak. The only one in the room who is actually dangerous is the one who is calm and silent. This is the power of the sovereign. This is the power of silence. You are the rock that breaks the raging wave, not the foam on the shore. Seneca taught that we continue to suffer as long as we allow external events to trigger a reaction. When you master the rage inside, you gain clarity. And with clarity comes choice. You decide what changes. You decide what you accept. You decide what you protect. Today, carry this with you. You are not your anger. You are the one watching it pass. The next time the heat rises, remember the 90 seconds. Separate the words from the story. Channel the energy into a decision. And act with intention, not impulse. Because the best revenge isn't a shout. It is a life lived so well, so calmly, and so securely that the arrows of others simply fall to the ground, forgotten. Subscribe to join us and master your life through Stoic discipline. If you know someone who needs a shield against chaos, please share this video. Thank you for watching.